Alright, gamers, today, or I guess more accurately, I'm talking to the weebs today. Today I am going to be ranking all of the My Hero Academia fights up to about season 5, I believe, I think is what's here. This is just on the Tier Maker website. I didn't throw this together myself. I'm a huge My Hero Academia fan. If you've been listening to the podcast, which by the way, it's the Shumatsu podcast with me and Davis, there'll be a link in the description. I've talked about My Hero Academia in literally every episode. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Okay, so we have pretty much every major fight. So I'm 100% caught up with My Hero Academia. I'm reading the manga. So this doesn't include any manga fights. So if you're worried about manga spoilers, don't be. This is just going to be spoilers for everything up to season 5. Okay, let's just go in the order here. So the first up was just fucking heavy hitter. We got Todoroki versus Deku in the sports festival. I don't know. Because that is a really, really good fight. I'm afraid I'm going to have too much bias, and I'm just going to go into this and put everything in S tier. Definitely the highlight of Season 2, right? And definitely the highlight of the tournament arc. Really made Deku as a character. It really elevated Deku as a character. Maybe like Todoroki a little bit more, gave him a bit more backstory, and it wasn't just, hey, he's just the edgy douchebag that's kind of in the background. Fuck it, we're going to start off strong. I'm putting this shit in S tier. Next up, we got Deku versus Overhaul. Jesus Christ, you can't start with literally the best fights of the show. I'm going to come back to that one. Ooh, let's do this one. Let's do Deku versus Kachon, the first one. This is like season 1, episode like 7, I think. It was very early on in the show. Because of how early on it was in the show, I'm going to put it in C tier. Because while it was cool, and it showed that Deku can actually fight without his quirk, and it showed more of his tactical mind and everything, it was a really basic fight. There was no stakes, really. It was training. That was about it. It was kind of cool seeing Bakugou be like kind of humbled a little bit, because at this point he's still just a giant asshole. It was an okay fight, but it wasn't anything like spectacular. Let's do, I do want to do some of the earlier ones. What is that? That's Toga. Oh, okay, I know what that is now. Okay, so that's in season 5 when Toga uses or finds that she can use the quirks of the people she turns into. That wasn't really much of a fight. It was kind of cool, but I think I'm gonna put that in C tier as well, because I don't really see that as a fight. Wasn't it just like she was getting her ass kicked and then suddenly she was like, wait a second, I can make you fuckers float, and then it was done? Let's rank Fat Gum and Kirishima versus is it Rappa? Is it Rappa? It is Rappa. Kendo Rappa. This fool. This fucking dude. That fight was really cool. It was cool seeing Fat Gum do some stuff. I remember everyone simping over him when he was in his skinny form. Kirishima, I will say, it was a little underwhelming to see Kirishima do his unbreakable thing again and then just get fucking rocked. I understood the point of it was that like even that little bit of a push was still enough to help change the tides of the fight, but it was cool because like it was a little like, oh man, that kind of sucks, because it was really, really cool. Him using Unbreakable early on, and now it's like it didn't really help him all that much here. The whole spear and shield thing, Fat Gum's quirk is really cool, and it's honestly like one of the few quirk. I think if I could choose any quirk from My Hero Academia, I mean, One for All, you think it'd be cool, but it's like I don't want to break my fucking arms. I think if I could have a quirk, I'd have his quirk. That'd be great. You know how easily it'd be to like lose weight? It's an okay fight, but it's sort of like middle of the road, especially in season 4 during that whole the raid arc. During that whole thing, out of all the fights there, it's probably the one towards the bottom. Let's do Deca versus Cinso. I'm putting that in D tier. I'm sorry. And it was cool to see the brainwashing quirk, but it also, again, wasn't really much of a fight. Okay. The joint training arc was one that I know a lot of people didn't like, both in the manga and the anime. I really liked it, but it also might have been because I started reading the manga just after season 4, so it was like one of the first things that I read. But I didn't hate it. The first one we got, I think, was this the first one? Yeah, because the order was this. Actually, I think this was the order, wasn't it? Like this, and then ended with Deku's fight. So yeah, the first fight wasn't really... It was very basic. There was some like really clean animation for some reason. Like when Kaminari used his quirk, there was like one moment that was like really, really well animated for some reason. I'm gonna put it in low D tier. High D tier rather. I'm gonna put it in high D tier. It's just not great. Okay, next up we have the Tokiyami fight. It was okay. just trying to remember it now. I think I preferred this fight a little bit more because there was a little bit more going on. This fight ended very quickly. This one was a little bit more like there was like some more like emotional stakes, and Tokiyami got some a little bit of character development, and then that I can't remember his name, but the shadow guy was really cool. Oh, also I forgot about the mushroom girl. She's fucking crazy. I'm gonna put it again high. It's still in D tier, but I prefer it more than that first fight. Todoroki with Tetsu and everything, that's gonna be low C tier. It was really cool. They had some really clean animation with Ida when he used his new super move. Mudman's quirk is fucking OP. And then Todoroki versus Tetsu was pretty cool. Like he was like melting him, which was pretty cool. Bakugou's fight in the joint training arc, I don't know if it's quite A. If it was longer, it could have been an A. I'm going to put it in high B tier because I did really, really like it. I much prefer Bakugou's winter costume. Not only does it make more sense for his quirk because his quirk's about sweat. So I like his winter costume. It looks cooler. But Bakugou, like when I first started the show, didn't give a single shit about Bakugou. And then as the series progressed, I've liked him a lot more. He's not my favorite character still. Deku's still definitely my favorite character. But he went from like bottom of the list to like my second favorite character, especially in the manga. So yeah, I'm gonna put that fight in B tier. It was pretty cool because Bakugou started changing his outlook, and now it was more about the whole like you gotta save people to win kind of thing. So he is like adopting more of Deku's ideologies and everything, which was pretty nice. It was still a pretty neat fight, and it was some nice character development for Bakugou. And then for the last one, I'm gonna put this also in B tier, but just slightly above that one. Deku using Black Whip, well, I say using Black Whip for the first time. Black Whip showing up for the first time was really cool. There was some fan servicey stuff in that just really wasn't needed. And I think that was like the one fight that in season 5, right? Am I crazy, or is that like the one fight? That's the one where fan service stuck out the most to me. And like that's the most memorable fan servicey stuff was in that fight. Ooh, that might actually bring it down for me a little bit. Deku versus Cinso was pretty cool. Cinso run away like Spider-Man was kind of funny. No, I'll leave it at B tier. I might switch that around, but for now I'm gonna leave it at B tier. Okay, now this is gonna start getting really tough. I'll do Todoroki and Momo versus Aizawa. I'll put it above Todoroki's joint training arc fight. I'll put it above that fight, but below the Toga one because the Toga one had more stakes. This was just sort of training. There was some emotional stuff and there was some more character development for Momo. Next up, Bakugou versus Uaraka. That fight, it showed that Uaraka wasn't like completely useless. She hasn't really gotten to do much else since then. Next up, Amajiki versus the fucking Three Stooges. This might be our first A tier one because this was the first fight that really started to, it was also one of the first fights in season 4 and when they got into the hideout chasing down Overhaul. So that fight was cool because it showed that, it also kind of showed why he's in the top 3 or why he's one of UA's big 3. Nejire really hasn't gotten her like moment, you know, like Mirio had his, Amajiki had his. Nejire's still kind of been sidelined, which sucks. I'm kind of noticing a trend with female characters in My Hero Academia. But yeah, overall, I really like that fight. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. Okay, I'll do the Deku and Deku and the fuck's his name? Bakugou versus All Might. That was in the exams thing as well. Other than that, I mean, All Might, it was kind of funny because it's like I know All Might had like the weights on, but it was, I mean, they still won mainly because All Might was just getting tired. Awful convenient. I still think I prefer. I'm gonna put it in low B tier because I still prefer the Kirishima fight. That one had way more stakes than this one, and I liked these fights a little bit more. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move Bakugou's fight up. I think I prefer Bakugou's fight over. I like the Deku using Black Whip and everything was cool, but I still think I prefer Bakugou's fight. Let's do All Might versus Nomu because when I started watching My Hero Academia, I was kind of like, because like I never got into the show. Because, the reason that, Davis had recommended the show to me, like, a few times, because, like, in Pokemon series, he's, like, named Pokemon after Bakugou and Deku, and, like, he had explained the show to me that it's about superheroes and stuff, and that everyone has these quirks, and I'm like, I remember hearing about it, and I knew I was gonna enjoy it. Then I started watching the show, and episode 1 and 2 was cool. I wasn't hooked immediately then. I really got hooked when episode 4 rolled around, when Deku used One for All for the first time. That's when I was like, okay, this show's pretty cool. And it was like, that was enough to kind of propel me along. But this fight was why I went and watched the rest of the series all in one go. And it was like, I really like, because it definitely gave that, like, it really showcased the kind of character All Might is. It's like he's the sort of light in the, like, the light in the dark kind of thing. And it was like, we saw this Nomu, like, absolutely, like, fucking Aizawa's shit up. And then All Might shows up, and then it was a sort of, like, relieving feeling. And then he still got his ass kicked a little bit. And then there was still, like, there's a whole inner monologue of, like, okay, I don't have much time left. I gotta wrap this up. So I'm gonna put it in high A tier. Okay, Deku versus Gentle Criminal. Really cool fight, because Gentle Criminal's, like, he's not my favorite villain, but he's definitely up there, and I really wish we would get to see him again. Because he's basically just, like, a fucking vlogger that's just like, hey, I need content, so I'm gonna go fucking rob a bank. And, like, him getting into UA wasn't for, like he wasn't planning on doing anything. He just wanted to prove he could break in. But then the problem with that is then it had to get shut down, and then Eri wouldn't be able to see the concert, and then she'd be sad. I think I preferred Amajiki's fight a little bit more, so I'm gonna put it in low A tier, but that fight was still really cool. Okay, let's do Shigaraki versus Redestro, because that was season 5. That was Shigaraki's awakening. We got his backstory. Both really, really cool. I really liked how the dub made Shigaraki's voice deeper. These are no longer necessary. To show that he's been awakened, because in the manga, everything before that, every time Shigaraki would talk, the text box around it would be like really shaky to show that his voice is kind of raspy. He's still a little whiny. And then after that, it was like normal to show that he's a little bit more like in control, I guess, if that makes sense. He basically, he wasn't like a whiny little brat anymore. Now he's like serious. He wants to, you know, he's becoming a true villain. So I think I preferred it over Gentle Criminal, but it's not S tier. Let's do Deku and Stain and Ida and Todoroki and that whole mess. It was cool because I really like Stain. Stain's a really cool character. He showed up in My Hero Academia Vigilante. I guess spoilers for that manga, but he showed up in My Hero Academia Vigilantes, and he was really cool then because we see why he turns into this full-blown like hero killer. He definitely felt like a genuine threat to these kids, because like up until this point they had gone up against villains in the USJ attack, but this time it genuinely felt like they were on their own. Because Ida went off on his own, and he was kind of going, not rogue, but like, you know, he was like, the only reason he took this like thing with Manuel so he could go after Stain. So that was pretty cool. And then seeing Deku and Todoroki show up, because it's like, no, I got your back, man. So that fight was really solid. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna put that in A tier. Okay, I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. I'm gonna move the All Might and Bakugou and Deku fight down to high C tier. I'm gonna move the Gentle Criminal fight to high B tier, and I'm gonna move this to B tier as well. And because of that, I'm gonna put the Deku versus Kachon fight, I'm gonna put that above the Stain fight and the Amajiki fight, because that fight was really, really cool. We got to see Bakugou. It was sort of like you know, he actually like had a bit more. We got to see a bit more of a genuine side of his character, but it also helped. Like season 3 really turned Bakugo as a character around for me, and I think it did for a lot of people, because like I didn't really. There's people that liked Bakugo before, which I don't really know why. His quirk was cool, but like Bakugo was just a dick. That fight was also just fucking beautifully animated. Mirio versus Overhaul. God damn, these are fucking tough. I gotta watch that fight again. You know, I'm gonna start looking these up. Ah, fuck, that fight is really good. Including the fight just before it, because one of my favorite parts of season 4, and it's so simple, is the part where like in that arc is when he like Lemillion catches up to Eri and Overhauling them, and then he phases through the one guy to kick, or he phases through Eri's head to kick the guy in the face and then catches her. It's such a cool maneuver. I'm gonna put that fight just above it. Just slightly above. Oh, fuck. I might have to put it above All Might. High A tier. That fight is so fucking great. And I love Lemillion. And he's so fucking cool. I'm going to put it in high A tier. I'm sorry, All Might. Yeah, I mean, you got one more fight. Don't worry. You're going to be in S tier somewhere. I'm going to start off with my favorite fight of Deku's, which is the Deku versus Muscular fight. I really like that fight because, although it's fairly simple, it's basically just like, it's not really much of a fight. It's just like really strong guy punching really strong guy, which I guess most of the fights boil down to that, but I don't care. It's really, really cool. It was cool seeing Koda, like, you know, change his whole perspective on heroes just because of Deku, and I feel like it kind of encapsulated what his character is. Arguably the most we've seen like the most fucked up we've seen Deku, as in like in terms of like hurt. Like season 4, he got a little messed up, but because of Eri, that all got reversed. But like season 3, like he got fucked up. It also had a lot of stakes because Muscular was like, you know, straight up out for blood. I'm gonna put Deku versus Overhaul. The thing about that fight is the animation's really good, right? The animation is really, really good in that fight. My two things are, one, it's not as because it's kind of like, it was sort of like, well, duh, obviously Deku can be the one to finish out the fight. It was cool seeing him tap into like 100% without breaking, well, without like permanent damage, you know, like he had Eri reversing it. I also really like how the fact that as soon as he tapped into that much power, it wasn't even a fight overall. Like Overhaul just got straight up clapped. It was cool to see how like the potential of how strong Deku could be. But I think, especially after rewatching Lemillion's, I think I prefer Lemillion's fight. So I'm gonna put it right there. Really good fight. I really, really liked it, but not my favorite. Next up, Endeavor versus the High-End Nomu. That was cool, and I definitely started turning Endeavor as a character for me around, because like I really, even now I still don't love Endeavor, because I don't know if it's an S tier. I'm gonna have to rewatch that fight.
A few moments later.
I'm getting fucking goosebumps, man. God damn. Fuck. Okay, never mind. Just really good fight. Forget everything I just said. I'll admit right now, I was wrong. That fight's fucking amazing. God damn. Oh, that was so fucking good. You know what? Fuck it. Going in S tier. Endeavor's still not my favorite, but that fight was definitely, like, I mean, that's definitely a strong ass start to redeem a character. And then the final fight, and probably the one that, like, I could have ranked earlier, but All For One versus All Might. All Might's final outing. We got United States of Smash and everything. I already know where I'm gonna put this fight, but I just gotta rewatch it. United Oh, god damn. Yeah, no, easily the best fight in My Hero Academia. So many good, like, reasons. One, All Might's final outing. Two, we get to see the full power of All For One. We've heard so much about him, but to see him actually in action, he fucked up Best Jeanist in one go. Yeah, also All Might, you know, pulling some tricks from Deku. The entire series, Deku's been most of Deku's moves have been because, like, just based on All Might stuff. But to see All Might pull a page out of Deku's book was really, really cool. The whole, like, sacrificing a part of yourself to then, you know, he let his, like, his other arm get fucked up to, you know, have a stronger swing on this one. And then, I don't know, it's just, the whole fight's just really fucking cool, okay? Again, All Might's final outing, and it was a hell of a one. United States of Smash as his final move. I mean, he punched the good dude so fucking hard, it caused a goddamn tornado that picked up buildings. Like, you know, like, come on. So yeah, this is my final ranking. It is taking me 45 minutes to do this, but this is my final ranking for My Hero Academia fights as is. I might have to revisit this when season 6 gets animated, but we'll see. But yeah, there you go. Those are my rankings of My Hero Academia fights. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know down in the comments below what you like, how you would rank some of these. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, give a like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.